How to build a wooden dory boat. A complete beginner's guide. Building a wooden boat is one of the most rewarding projects a craftsperson can take on. And among all the wooden boat designs in history, few are as elegant, proven, or satisfying to build as the Grand Banks Dory. This guide walks you through what's involved in building a wooden dory from scratch. From selecting your lumber to launching your finished boat, whether you're a seasoned woodworker or picking up a saw for the first time, this overview will show you exactly what to expect. What is a dory? A dory is a small, flat-bottomed fishing boat with high flared sides and a narrow bottom. The design originated in the fishing communities of Atlantic Canada and New England, where it was used by cod fishermen on the Grand Banks of Newfoundland, some of the richest and most dangerous fishing grounds in the world. The dory earned its legendary reputation because of what it could do: carry enormous loads, survive rough seas, stack neatly on the decks of schooners, and be rowed for miles by a single fisherman. It is one of the most seaworthy small boats ever designed. Today, the dory makes a superb pleasure craft. It rows beautifully, handles a small outboard motor, and turns heads everywhere it goes. Building one connects you to a tradition stretching back hundreds of years. What you'll need: Lumbortha. Traditional Grand Banks dory is built from white pine planking, oak timbers, ribs, and a birch stem. Here's the basic list: 8 pieces of white pine for planking, 16 by 9 inches by 5/8, 5/8, 5 pieces of white pine for the bottom, 12 by 7 inches by 1 1/4, 5 pieces of oak for timbers, 6 by 12 by 3/4, 1 piece of birch for the stem, 9 inches by 2.5x to pine for the counter. Apron, gunnel casing, risings, thwarts, and runners. Full materials list with exact dimensions is included in the Grand Banks Dory plans at doryplan.com. **** tools. You don't need a fully equipped workshop. The core tools are table saw with a 1/4 dado blade jigsaw with a 1-inch blade electric drill for or more wood clamps, capable of extending at least 35 measuring tape. Hand plane, electric sander handsaw, and skills of fasters and glumarin grade materials are essential for a watertight, long-lasting boat. You'll need stainless steel screws in several sizes, 6 tubes of marine glue number 920 or number 2000, and a tub of pine wood filler for finishing. The build process and overview. Building a Grand Banks dory follows a logical sequence. Here's how the process flows from start to finish. 1. Build the bottom. The bottom is laminated from 5 pine planks using a tongue and groove joint and marine glue. This creates a strong, watertight base that forms the foundation of the entire boat. Once the glue cures, 24 hours, mark, and saw the bottom into the dory's distinctive curved shape using a 5/8 bevel. 2. Post your Lumbortha. Dory must be set up on floor blocks with the center 2 inches lower than each end. This creates the rocker, the gentle curve of the bottom that gives the dory its seakeeping ability. This step is critical and must be established early. 3. Build the counter and apron. The counter transom at the stern and the apron at the stem are built and installed, giving the boat its fore and aft structure. Both are cut with a 5/8 bevel to accept the planking. 4. Install the timbers. The 5 oak timber bends ribs form the skeleton of the dory. Each is constructed in 3 pieces, glued and screwed together into a U shape, and installed at the reference marks made on the bottom. Each timber requires a specific bevel angle depending on its position. 5. Install battens and bevel. The planks battens, long, thin strips of pine, are bent around the outside of the timbers to establish the shear line, the top edge of the hull. The planks are then cut with overlapping 2 inches bevel gate, technique called lapstrake planking. 6. Plank the hull. 4. Planks per side are bent around the timbers from stem to stern, glued and screwed into place, one strake at a time. This is the most satisfying stage of the build. The boat suddenly looks like a boat. 7. Interior. Fit-out risings, longitudinal planks the seats rest on, ports, seats, gunnel support blocks. Inside and outside casing and the birch stem are all installed. This completes the structural woodwork. 8. Finish and paintwood filler covers the screw heads. The dory is sanded, turned upside down for bottom runner installation. Then painted in the traditional scheme, marine green on the bottom and garboard plank, Dory buff yellow on the top sides and interior. How long does it take? A first-time builder working on weekends can complete a Grand Banks dory in approximately 8 to 12 weekends, depending on skill level and how much time is spent per session. The most time-consuming stages are the timber bends and the planking. Most of the work involves careful measuring, cutting, and clamping, rather than any highly specialized technique. Do I need plans? Yes, and not just any plans. A wooden boat requires precise measurements, bevel angles, and a clear sequence of steps. Improvising dimensions on a boat leads to structural problems, leaks, or a hull that simply doesn't float correctly. The Grand Banks dory plans at doryplan.com are the most comprehensive step-by-step plans available for this boat. Written by builders who have completed the project themselves. The plans include every measurement, every bevel angle, every fastening spec, and over 60 photographs taken during an actual build. They take you from raw lumber to a finished, painted, water-ready dory. Why build a dory? You could buy a fiberglass boat for less money and less effort. So why build a dory? A wooden dory is beautiful in a way fiberglass simply cannot match. Building your own boat is a deeply satisfying accomplishment. The Grand Banks dory is part of Newfoundland's cultural heritage. Building one connects you to something larger than yourself. A well-built dory will outlast its builder if properly maintained. Every person who sees it will ask about it. The Grand Banks dory is not the easiest boat to build, but it is one of the most rewarding. If you're ready to start, the plans are waiting. Download the Grand Banks dory plans at doryplan.com.